If you love your kids enough, Raylene, is that enough? I mean, a lot of parents may not love as hard as they can, even though they try. Is that what determines a good parent and a bad parent, despite the fact that you're in an industry that makes people raise their eyebrows?
Right. You know, I really have to hope that it's going to be enough, because the last thing I want to do is have to homeschool my child, you know, in order for him to have a decent upbringing. I want him to go out and play. I want him to have friends. You know, I want him to have a beautiful life outside of our home. And I think it's important to have two parents that love you within one household. If that doesn't work, it doesn't work. But as long as you have two whole parents there that are like-minded and that are whole in their mind and heart and body, then, you know, you're going to have a halfway decent child.
We're going to talk about some of the other stories, too, in Thursday Night Magazine, new online publication, Thursday Night. Magazine.com. Raylene, adult film star, joins us from Los Angeles. It's so interesting. Some of the craziest people I've ever met in my life are the sons and daughters of ministers. Is it not ironic to reflect upon the fact that your kids could turn out to be ultra-conservative because their mother was a porn star?
I think that would be awesome. Then I wouldn't have to worry about drug addict issues.
Well, how much are drugs a part of the adult film world?
You know, when I was in it before, because it was so much a part of my own personal world, that's all I hung out with and that's all I saw. Since I've been back in the business, I mean, I've only done one movie so far, okay? I've worked 4 days. I haven't really run into it. So it's, you know, I mean, I'm going to have to, of course, take a bigger, deeper look. I just got out of bed. Can't talk very well. Into it. I don't know. I think that some of the younger folks, of course, do it. I'm not as young as I was when I was in it before. I'm 32 years old. I think some of the 20-year-olds in there, I'm sure there's a little bit of a motivation there with drugs. But I can't really answer that question for you right now.
All right, let me ask you. You have been also a champion and have changed the laws when it comes to testing, health testing for adult film participants. Let's talk about that law and some of the changes that you have affected for the industry, Raylene.
Well, I don't know if I've really so much affected anything for anybody as far as, you know, the people that are a little bit higher up. You know, when I was in the business, there were a few big AIDS scares and HIV scares, and that was pretty gnarly. I mean, I was directly affected by working with somebody. I mean, of course, I didn't catch anything, but I was affected by working with somebody that had the HIV virus without a condom, and that's pretty gnarly. I mean, that's gnarly. You know, you don't want to catch some permanent disease that, you know, people don't even want to sit next to you on the bus.
What's the reaction been to your story, Raylene, in Thursday Night Magazine, the new online publication we're talking about? What's the reaction been?
So far, it's been a positive reaction. There are some fans out there that I didn't know I had. I've been off the map for 8 years, so I didn't even think that I had fans anymore. It's pretty cool. Pretty interesting.
Raylene joins us from Los Angeles, adult film star returning to the industry. Why is it a trap for women, Raylene?
Well, if you don't choose to get yourself educated, you can be my age now, 32 years old, and wanting to retire and have nowhere to go. So I think that women need to educate themselves in other ways and save their money. And, you know, the business doesn't have anybody that'll lead you into, you know, showing you how to save your money, showing you how to, you know, balance a checkbook, buy property, you know, do something smart with yourself. And a lot of these women aren't taught that because they've either had this bumpy lifestyle growing up or, you know, some of them do. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. There are quite a few very, you know, smart men and women in the business.
But if you're not happy with how you've made the money or you don't respect how you've made the money at a subconscious or conscious level, you apply and deal with the money and direct it differently.
Right.
That's also an issue, right?
That is an issue, yeah. It either goes up your nose or you spend it on, you know, clothing that you'll never wear, you know, $5,000 dinners for you and all your friends.
Paul Fitzgerald, co-owner of Thursday Night Magazine, where the story on Raylene, adult film star, appears, returning to the industry after an absence. Talk to us about some of the other articles we'll find in Thursday Night Magazine, Paul.
Yeah, we have, I think really quickly, Raylene complements a lot of our articles because I think all our articles, whether it be on Susan Boyle, the Scottish poor singer that's now famous, Noam Chomsky, Canadian actors moving to Hollywood, and Laura Nurse, a model from Halifax. Our stories are in depth. They have a lot of meaning. Our stories aren't 20, 30 words like different online magazines are these days. And, the magazine overall, the stories we have Noam Chomsky, we have Susan Boyle, we have Laura Nurse, a fantastic, actually local model from Halifax that wants to break into the international scene. We have a really unique gem going here because we're not.
You've got entertainment, you've got politics, you've got lifestyle.
We've got everything. We've got sex, we've got crime. We actually have one. We interviewed one woman in the magazine. Her name's Gemini Reynolds. She wrote a book about her love affair, her so-called love affair with Charles Bronson, which is one of Britain's most notorious most vicious prisoners. I mean, the guy was charged for bank robbery, but he's done a number of hostage takings in British prisons, and he's been confined now. He's in prison for life in solitary confinement.
What's interesting about the Huffington Post and Slate Magazine, and now Thursday night, Raylene joins us from Los Angeles, adult film star Steve McNeil, not to be confused with Stephen McNeil. Steve McNeil, Thursday Magazine co-owner, along with Paul Fitzgerald. What I like too today, one of the top stories, and I'll be dealing with this heavy tomorrow, from allnovascotia.com, their political reporting discovered an interesting fight between the Prime Minister's office and the Chronicle Herald. And then you folks with your digital entity providing reportage as well. What we're starting to see is reporters and investigative journalists from the online world. As newspapers shrink, we need other news sources, and it's nice to see you guys filling in the blanks there. Coming back with more, I'll look at the adult film world with Raylene, feature story in Thursday Magazine, and more with co-owners Steve McNeil and Paul Fitzgerald right here on Maritime Morning. Ahead to a sneak peek at the Tom Young broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Maritime Morning with Andrew Krystal.